Hello, good evening. Welcome to I'mPossible Conversation, the conversation where ordinary people share their extraordinary life journeys. Tonight, I have George, my
Good.
guest, as my
Hello.
guest. Hello, how are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good to be here.
Thanks for your time to joining us here. Let's talk about your life journeys. Please tell us about yourself. I know you are from Gambia and you've been in Liverpool and you moved to Newcastle and there are so much more.
Yes, I've lived in the UK now for about 31 years. Second time around, I lived in London. Then I moved up to Manchester. Then I moved to near Blackpool, Lytham St Anne's. And then for the last 6.5 years, I've lived in Newcastle. Plus, in
Fantastic.
between there, I studied at Staffordshire. So I've seen a bit of the UK.
And you chose to be in Newcastle.
Yes, this is my second home. My first home is Gambia. Newcastle is my second home. And I wish I'd found it sooner.
Oh, we have lovely Anne English here. Wonderful to see you both, Suki and George. Look at that TEDx.
Good evening,
logo.
Anne. Whoa.
How amazing is that? TEDx speaker.
Yeah.
Not next week. It's 11th of April, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about just under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
She'll be wonderful.
Yeah. She's going to be amazing and amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Anne, for being here with us. Let's talk, George.
Yeah.
Tell us about your childhood and what's life like in Gambia. Are you all right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to type. Oh, my childhood. My childhood was mainly good. There were a few years which were not so good in the sense that I was brought up by my auntie, my father's older sister, who was a beacon of light. She was an example. She was kind, caring, loving, everything. Now, my mother doesn't agree with, my mother claimed my auntie spoiled me. So, if you've listened to stories of Black people growing up, Lenny Henry has said his mother used to beat him because it's for your own good. Idris Elba talked about his mother beating him as well. My mother was the same. So it got to a point where I would do what the hell I want to do and go home and she'll beat the living daylights out of me. But that wouldn't stop me. But that's the only bad thing about my childhood. But the rest of it, it was I was kind of closeted. I wasn't allowed to go out, but kids can come and play with me. So, but everything I wanted, I could get. I got everything I wanted. So in that respect, it was a very happy childhood, apart from a couple of years. But growing up, it was peaceful. It was a small community. You can walk from one end of the city to the other in probably 45 minutes.
Okay. And probably everyone knew each other as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Everybody knew everybody. And people said to me today, now in England, you're always smartly dressed. It's not I am smartly dressed. It's the way we were brought up to dress. If you went out and your shirt was hanging out of your trousers, all you'll hear is somebody would come and slap you. How dare you go out like this? you always have to be smartly dressed. So it's something that I've known all my life.
Uh-huh. And I would like to mention that I love your top. It's a traditional top. And then behind you, the big poster. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, this top was made, I think my sister, one of I had three sisters. One died in America about 6 years ago. One of the two surviving ones made it for me. It's made of a special type of cloth. I think they call them batik, but it's not batik as we know in Thailand, but it's another type of batik. Now, when I decided I'm going to do some videos, the light in the flat is this place, but behind is a table full of rubbish. So I thought, right, I'm going to buy a divider to hide the rubbish. But it was very ordinary. So I decided I'm going to make it attractive. So I collected the lady at the back this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Nubian princess. So I decided I'll take also it was during the start of the COVID, and the government were making mistakes and lying to people. So the cartoonists and the newspapers had a field day. So I cut them out and I put them in that to make it interesting. So that's what's behind me.
Yeah, you made it really interesting because I am intrigued to find out what is behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all sorts of cartoon of Boris Johnson, Richie Sunak, Matt Hancock, died. All the people who were involved with the test track and trace, who made a balls of it, they are on there. See, one of my implausible lies, it says, as a student of politics, I've voted conservative all my life. Now, the first reveal, that is a lie.
Okay, because George's been posting very for 3 days. Is that right?
Yeah, about 3
Different
days.
posts,
Yes,
all about implausible lies and unbelievable truths.
yeah.
He stated so many different facts of his life, and then people were guessing if it's true or lie.
Or lie, yeah.
Yeah, and that was that attracted so many people, and we are going to reveal some of the truths and some of the lies tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And can I just ask, you've been baking, you've been making sausages, and you've been baking what is it, the Scottish breadsticks? Is that right?
Shortbread.
Shortbreads. Shortbread. Yeah. And what's going on? Are you being like domestic king and like creating all this, or is it your hobby?
I love cooking. I love entertaining people. Again, when I was growing up, we did a lot of entertaining. My parents had what they call a caboodle. There's a group of them, maybe about 12, 16 of them. They meet every month or every so often in each other's house. So they all cook and bring stuff. But I learned to cook probably from, no. Okay, let me give you back. When I was growing up, we had a maid. The maid works 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, and she had Sunday off. So I had Sundays back home. We had a roast chicken, roast pork, roast dog, roast anything. Now, it was my job to do the roast. So the roast, all you did was you marinated it on a Saturday. After church on Sunday, you put it in the oven. And that's it. but I never actually learned to cook until I arrived in England. But I watched them what they do, and I thought, yeah, I can do it. And it's just from memory. Now, the baking, it started Gambia. You may not know this, but it's 95% of people there are Muslims.
All right.
So we have a lot of Muslim friends. So Christmas time, we would bake cake and soft drinks to give to them as a gift. So my auntie taught me how to bake from the age of about 10. And in those days, there was no blender or nothing. So you used to beat it by hand. And so from the age of about 10 till about 16, I made all the cakes. I baked all the cakes that were in our house. So, and then I stopped baking. And then one time in England, when I was here, I decided, right, I'm going to bake a cake. But I didn't have any scales. I didn't have any weight measures. I just remembered from memory what you did. And it turned out okay, but it was very thick and heavy. So then I went out and bought some scales. And it was only during lockdown that I decided, okay, let me bake some cake and see whether I still remember. And I did. It was good. And then I came across a recipe for carrot cake. Now, carrot cake to me is easier than baking a sponge cake. You just what I call jahas bahas. You just mix everything and stir up. And so that's how the caking started. Sausages, I've always wanted to do that, but it never, no. And then I do things when I think the time is right. Something happened and I saw, right, let me buy this mincer. And so then I bought a starter kit for sausages. So I went to the butchers and I said, listen, they said this, I'm trying to make some sausages. This is the meat they recommend. What do you say? And he said, well, yeah, but you need a bit more of this. And he said to me, be careful because they tend to wind back. If that happens, bring it down to me and my chaps would grind it for you, would mince it for you. So I started doing, I don't know, this is going to be hard work. So I went to the market, Granger Market. There's a particular butcher's that is very helpful. So all the meat I get from them. And then I bought a much better sausage making machine, which is the one I used for the last one I did. But it is hard work. It is very hard work.
Is it? But it's a good thing to do, isn't it? You would at least know what's in it.
Yes, and I want to experiment. I love chili. I want to experiment with venison, wild boar, whatever. Anything, really. I want to just see what it tastes like, what it would taste like. I'm going to bake some more cakes. I don't know when I just feel like it. But I'm going to use different types of vegetable.
Oh, wow. Can't wait. You're probably going to let us know. Is that right?
Yes, I will let you know when I decide to do it. One thing, I also used to do a curry club at the coast. With COVID has stopped that. So I think the next one will be in June. It could be before because we allowed back into restaurants in May. But I want to wait and see. So I think I will do it in June. But for the first one, I will bake a cake. I don't know which type of cake I'm going to bake, but I will bake a cake for the people who turn up. They will sample it and I'll get their verdict. And I'm not going on any bake-off program anytime soon. Let me just tell them, I'm going on no bake-off program anytime soon.
Yeah, so what happens at Curry Club? Because I've seen the adverts around.
Well, curry club, when I moved to Newcastle, there was a curry
Uh-huh.
club in existence in the town, in the city, lunchtime. And the guy who was running it, a guy called Dave, I can't remember his last name, he
Uh-huh.
said he was packing up. He was
All
not doing
right.
it anymore. He's been doing it for about 12 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, would you have any objections if I take it up and run with it? He said
Mm-hmm.
no. Now, I don't want to go. I didn't fancy going into town, so I looked
Mm-hmm.
at the coast of the restaurants there, but none of them were open during the day. They're all opening at night. So, okay, I thought nighttime. So I asked a few people whether they would be interested in a curry club. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So, okay. So I went around the restaurants in Whitley Bay to find out. I told them what I want to do, who would accommodate us. And the place we go, yes, he was, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
come along. So when I launched it October 19, we had, I think it was 12 or 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
And October, November, we didn't do any in December 19 because it was too close to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had January, February. The numbers oscillate. The numbers go from about 9 to about 3. So you can never tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, all it is, it's just people who love curry get together, have a chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've had
And then
people,
share food.
yeah, their love of curry. We've had
Mm-hmm.
a couple of teachers. It's not necessarily business people, but people
Mm-hmm.
you like to spend time with,
Yeah.
and you just talk, and you see friendships develop. And for me,
Mm.
it's about bringing people together.
Absolutely.
Where it takes them, you never know. But people who,
Yeah.
thanks, Anne. I'll save one for you.
Anne says, I love your hats, George. You always stand out at events across a crowded room. First, I spot your hat, then I see your smile, and then I hear your welcoming voice.
That's very kind of you, Anne. That feeling, Anne is a unique lady.
She is.
Yes, she is. She is a wonderful human being. Now
100% agree.
she's blushing.
Okay, so your title, it's Be Helpful,
Yeah,
George.
yeah.
Being helpful. What's being helpful means to you? Why do you think it's most important?
And you see, when I was along the way, I've had help from people. It hasn't always been easy, and people always help you. People will always help, so long as it doesn't cost them money.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always help where I can.
Mm-hmm.
I help because it's just something you do. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah,
But
it
here
is.
people,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Go on. Yeah.
people are scared of helping because they might be rejected. But just do it without expecting anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
I've 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 got a best friend at home. He wasn't expecting anything. He was going through a difficult time, and okay. Listen, this is what I will do. In that instance, it was financial, but he
Mm-hmm.
knows that whatever it is, I would give my right arm for him. I don't expect him to do the same, but I will do it
Mm-hmm.
for him because we've been together. We've known each other close to 50 plus years. You don't have friends like that. Or if you
No.
do, there are very few.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about being helpful and thinking about the actual word help, because back in my country, in my language, like in Mongolian, word help, it is it's do things to other people without any expectation at all.
Yeah.
But now here we have word help, but then when we say, because I know like on a LinkedIn we have helping people to achieve that helping, and it is like exchanging our service as well.
Yeah.
And
It's I think
mhm,
it's come to mean like barter. If I do this for you, you'll do that for me. But I think
yeah.
that's the wrong way of helping. You help without expecting a return. I'll give you an example. My brother-in-law back home, he's married to one of my sisters. Um, he's a politician. Now, in Gambia, there's a lot of Gambians had scholarships to go to America.
Mm-hmm,
So all they had to do was get themselves to America.
mm-hmm,
Everything would be taken care of.
mm-hmm,
But they don't have the means to pay the fare to get to America. So
mm-hmm,
my brother-in-law and his friends who were also in business, they would club together and pay the fares for these kids.
mm-hmm.
And he said to me one time, it's amazing. The more I do for these people, I get it back tenfold. Not from them, but in other ways. So
Yeah.
if you just help people and don't, oh, well, he owes me one, which people say, oh, you owe me one. No, don't expect anything. I
Mm-hmm,
did something similar for a chap here, and I introduced him to, oh, tell me who you, no, I don't want anything. I
mm-hmm,
was talking to this chap, and he mentioned this, and I thought, right, yeah, these two, they have synergy. I'll put them together.
mm-hmm.
It's up to them. My job is to bring people together.
Yeah.
Uh, and when you see them develop and you see them work together, it is happiness for me. People matter. Without people, we are nobody.
Yeah. We all in it together, whatever
Abs-
we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So tell us about your love of music.
Okay, my father was an organist. He played the organ in the church,
Mm-hmm,
and there was music playing in the house all the time. In fact, my nickname amongst my father's friends was Soul Man because our music was played all the time, all the time. So, and then one of my friends played in a band at home. We used to go, we went out Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. So music was always around with us. I don't play it as much as I did then, but yeah, I've
mm-hmm,
always loved music. I don't play any musical instruments, though I'd love to. My two youngest kids played saxophone and clarinet. But my younger brother, who lives in New Zealand, he plays the
mm-hmm.
organ.
But you
But
still love dancing.
oh yeah, I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go, no, not go back. I can't wait to get into town
Mm-hmm,
to where they play soul reggae music. But
mm-hmm.
also I've made some friendships over there that had I not been going there, I would never have met them. Again, it's through the love of music. They all love
Yeah.
music, and so it
Mm-hmm.
brings people together. Just like you posted, was it yesterday, about Smile?
I could, yeah.
And,
And
and, and s- smile is a universal language. All you have to do is smile and you see them smile.
yeah, dancing, singing, and people have their own tribe based on their interest. Is that
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
curries.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
It's
mhm.
life is for living. I know you're a long time dead, so make the most of it. Is it? Shall we really reveal another of these lies then?
Yeah, I would love to. Let's reveal this one. To impress a young lady I fancied at school and
Mhm.
whose father didn't quite approve, I picked her up every day as I was chauffeur driven to school. I was welcomed with open arms during that period.
So what do you think, Suki?
I think that's true.
Yes, it is. It is true.
Uh-huh.
That is true. But it was only when I was in the sixth form. I wasn't chauffeur driven at school all my time at school. It's only when I passed my GCSEs to go into the sixth form
Uh-huh.
that I got chauffeur driven to school. And I'd met this young lady and I met her father. I see her because it's a small community. You end up in places where my dad's colleagues were. So I'd met her father in one of these events and he didn't quite like me. Okay. So not to worry. When I discovered that his daughter was going to the same school as me, okay,
Mm-hmm.
at that time there was only one school that had a sixth form in Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
So there were three secondary schools, but they all had to come to this sixth form. So I knew she told me she was going to the sixth form. And I said, okay, I'll see you at school. So on the first day of term, I turned up. My dad's driver was taking me to school. So I said to him, shall we go this way? So we went that way and I said, stop here. So he stopped outside their house. I went and knocked on the door. And I don't know. I don't think it was the father that answered, but I think it was the mother. Said, I'd come to pick up your daughter to go to school. So she trotted down. And that became the pattern. Every day,
Uh-huh.
Monday to Friday, I would pick her up, take her to school.
Oh.
That lasted until I think we broke up. I don't know. I became seriously ill. I had pleurisy, and yeah, I didn't go to school for probably about 6 months, and then it fizzled out.
Hmm.
That one is true.
That one is a true.
That one is true. Yes,
That
that's
one is a
an
true.
unbelievable truth.
Unbelievable truth. But it is believable truth though. So you promised to take Anne
Yeah.
dancing.
Yes. Yes. So, but
It's coming soon.
yeah. I think our spiritual home, or my spiritual home, and Michael's spiritual home will be reopened probably about July.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, for Anne, I think we will go on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. You two have to
Well,
catch up on that.
Michael has been a few times.
Hmm.
Me and Michael have been dancing probably twice, dancing, and we've met a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So Anne can join us when we go.
Very good.
Yeah.
So it's going to open quite soon.
Well, I said
Okay.
to people, we've waited over 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
The time remaining is less than 12 months. So we can be patient to wait for it to reopen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people, we push ourselves to get out of our comfort zone quite a
Mhm.
lot. What do you do to get out of your comfort zone?
Okay. I am very stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing, if you tell me you can't do it,
Uh-huh.
I will show you I can do it. In fact, the word can't doesn't exist in my vocabulary. You
Mm-hmm.
are either unable or unwilling to do it. You can do anything you want to do. It
Mm-hmm.
depends how badly you want it.
Tell us an example.
Okay. One of the first things they said to me you can't do is when I started selling life insurance, probably about 30 whatever years ago, they said to me, you can't do this job without a car. And I said to them, watch me. And I became salesman of the year the following year without a car. What I did then was there was a bus stop, a bus depot not far from the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd ring the bus depot up and say, okay, what time is the bus going to ABC, wherever I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell me it leaves stand whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
at this particular time, that was in Manchester. And so I'd go and see them. People, there's an area just outside Manchester called Glossop. It's in Derby, the Peak District. So I'd go and see the people there, and then I'd say to them, listen, I've missed the last bus. Can you drop me to, where are you going? I'm going to Manchester. So they'll drop me into Manchester city center. I was living probably about 3 miles from the city center. So I'd walk home. 'Cause at that point, I didn't do the sale. It was the first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't hire a taxi to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd walk home, and that was the pattern. So you can do it. What about that? So if somebody says to me, you can't do it, I will do it.
Mm-hmm. So that's your trigger.
Just to be bloody minded. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will do it.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship when I moved here. And the lady said to me, if you move to this area, we're finished. So I moved.
So you finished.
Well, not quite, but yeah, but I moved.
Okay. Okay. Right.
So if you say no, you can't. I was okay. I bend the rules. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
break them, but I
Mm-hmm.
will stretch them as far as they. I, I just love bending the rules.
Uh-huh.
So I'm also, when I was at school, my nickname at school was, to this day, some of my classmates still call me that. They call me bizarre. And the reason that happened was we were in a French lesson and we were reading on dit traduisez en français or traduisez en anglais, translate into English or translate into French. So we were reading this and they came across this word bizarre, and they asked the teacher, what does bizarre mean? And he said strange, and they pointed at me, looking at me, strange, because sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Uh-huh.
So even to this day, some of my classmates, when I go home, oh, bizarre
Uh-huh.
is here, bizarre is in town. So sometimes people said to me, what are you thinking? I don't even know what I'm thinking, but I know I'm thinking, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like I say, I love bending rules. Rules are there to be broken
Yeah.
or to be bent, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it will be boring if you don't have rules. Because there are nothing to bend or
Yeah,
stretch.
occasionally
Uh-huh.
I break the law, but I have
Uh-huh.
permission. Okay. One of these implausible lies is that
Uh-huh.
I had 15 points on my license at one point.
Is that true? I think it sounds like it's true.
It is true.
Uh-huh.
That is true. It cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right?
But what did
Um,
you do?
well, you see, I dislike driving that much.
Because when we were talking about bending rules, I was thinking if anyone tried going the opposite direction on A1.
No, that's madness. There's a difference between bending rules and being mad. That is madness.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, but
no,
maybe
I'm
like
not. I'm
four.
not. I'm
Yeah.
not mad yet. Well, that's
Uh-huh.
that is madness. No. Okay.
Oh.
What happened with that was the prosecutor at the magistrate's court said I'm a serial totter, somebody who adds points. So
Mm-hmm.
I was going home one evening or one night. It was late at night, and I was tired. I was hungry. I went across two traffic lights, and I got caught on camera on both occasions. So by then I was on 6 or 9. No, I probably was on 9 points already. So I don't know whether it's still possible, but you could get insurance against being banned from driving.
Okay.
So I tried to get insurance, but I was 9 points. The limit is 6. So okay, but I also lived in an area where there were only, I think there were only 2 buses the whole day,
Uh-huh.
and my son was about 9 months. You had everywhere was about 15, 20 minutes drive from where we lived. So I got a solicitor. I think he charged me 600 quid. Then the court, they fined me 600 quid plus court and whatever. It's just daylight robbery.
Mm.
But they let me drive with 15 points,
Yeah.
and I didn't get
Oh.
banned. But I got banned in Gateshead here.
Oh, right.
No, I've got my license back, but I was banned in
Yeah.
Gateshead for, I don't know, 6 or 9 months.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention to our viewers, if you have any questions for George, please just type on the comment section and we'll have this interactive question and answer with George and have a
Yeah.
laugh. Yeah.
Let me just say
So
something, Suki. I will answer as best I can, but I may plead the fifth.
so let's reveal the next implausible lies and unbelievable truths.
Right?
In the late 70s, there was a club called Next Door in Covent Garden, which on Monday nights had a jamming session with famous musicians
Yeah, that's good. That's
turning
true.
up. I got to know Phil Lynott quite well.
Yeah.
Lynott, So through him, I met and shared a few drinks with Wayne
No,
Daniel.
that's another one. That's another one.
Is it another one? Right,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Let me get
another
rid
one.
of this one and then show this one. Okay.
Yeah, this one is, I played cricket. Okay, let's take that one.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to know whether it's true or a lie?
I think it's true. It feels like it's all true. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that one is true because There was a club called Next Door in Covent Garden in the late 70s, early 80s. And on a Monday night, they did have a jamming session where famous musicians used to turn up with their instrument. And Phil Lynott would turn up. And he said, I'm his, what did he say, African brother? That is true. That is true.
What was he like?
Phil, he was, I think his father was probably Nigerian. I'm not too sure, but his mother was Irish. He was born in, I think, Ireland. And yeah, he was a very nice chap. Ordinary. He had, I'm trying to describe this. He had very dark hair, black hair. Oh, he was a charming guy.
And you were his brother.
Oh, he called me his African brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
So-
very nice. Go on.
It's so good to go back and listen and to find out more about you.
My life is interesting. Has been interesting. If I had the chance, if I have the chance to live my life all over again,
Yeah.
would I do exactly the same things? Probably, but not in the order in which they happened.
Okay. How would you going to change it?
Well, they won't happen in the time the timeline they happened. I would change the timeline. As they say in French, je ne regrette rien. I don't regret anything. Well, majority of them I don't regret. Some I might, but not the majority of them.
Yeah. George, do you want to turn on your lights, or have you got lights in there? Because I think it's getting really quite dark.
Yeah, I have got lights. I will turn it on, but I have to move to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello? No, wait. In a few minutes. You can come and sit down.
I think George's got a visitor. You've got a
Yeah. Pardon?
You've got a visitor? You've got a visitor?
Yes, my other half has arrived to
Oh,
soup. She helps me to make the sausages.
right.
Yeah.
So where were we? Yeah.
She's also my assistant cook.
You are the chef.
She chops the onions and do all the
Yeah. In my house, kids do that. Yeah. So if I ask you, who is your hero, and who would you like to be hero to?
Who is my hero? I think there are a few, but the one that springs to mind now is Mandela. Given the way he was treated when he came out of prison, he had no malice. He was forgiven. So it takes a huge person to be that magnanimous, and he was humble. He didn't bear any grudge. Who I want to be hero to, I have a lot of knowledge and experience to pass to people if they would listen. But I always remember one of my clients saying to me, in her house, she had a notice. She had a poster. It says, "We only employ teenagers in this establishment because we don't need to teach them anything. They know everything." So when you talk to some people, they think, who the hell are you? What do you know? But if they give you time to listen to you, they could learn a lot. I'd be a hero to anyone who would listen. You have to have a conversation, and within that conversation there will be bits they can pick up from what I have done or people I have met or what I have learned. We all have had experiences. Experiences is what we have gathered along the way. And we're making new experiences every day, forging new experiences every day.
Yeah.
Similar to learning. Learning is an ongoing process. You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Every single day.
Yeah. I mean, for this, you learned how to use StreamYard. It's not something you were familiar with, but you had to learn how to do it because it serves your purpose.
Yeah. So you are rule bender, George.
I bend rules. Yes.
You bend rules.
But don't tell everybody. Don't shout it out.
We're going to share with everybody now. So what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Craziest thing I've ever done.
Uh-huh.
Is that crazy by my standard or crazy by anybody's standards?
Probably your standards go all the way.
Well, then it's not crazy. Then this is my standard. It's not crazy.
You are rule benders.
Yeah. Well, let me think. What's the craziest thing I've done that I want to share with people? I don't know. I know. The craziest thing I wanted to do, but my partner in crime chickened out. No, COVID interrupted it. We were going to drive down the coast road. Me in a blonde wig, and him in a black wig,
Uh-huh.
We were going to do it during Halloween, just for the sake of it. But nobody was allowed to meet during Halloween. So maybe we might do it if he's
much fun sounds like.
Well, it was Halloween people get dressed up.
Yeah.
So we were trying. I wanted to relive the black and white minstrel show. So we'd be going down the coast road. He'll be driving, of course. He'll be dressed in a black wig, paint his face black. I'll be in a blonde wig, paint my face white, and cause mayhem along the A1, along the coast road. But alas, I don't think you will see it. But that's just crazy. It's difficult to remember. I've done so many mad things.
Fun.
Oh, I've done so many mad things, but I can't remember.
So if I ask you, what's been the most important experience in your life that taught you so much lesson?
Okay, the one which had an impact on me was my dad was in hospital in England, and he underwent a major operation, and they said to me he would go into the operating theater at 9, he'd be out by 12. So I went to the hospital by 12. He was still not out. They said another 3 hours. So 3 hours later, I went there, and he was just coming out of the operating theater. I've never seen so many tubes in somebody. I ran. I was scared. I ran. I didn't stay. But that was humbling. You see, this was full of life. There he was, helpless. It just brought back that life is precious, and we should treat it as such, and it could go just like that.
Yeah.
That was one experience. And then the other one, I didn't witness it, but I was told when I went home, when he went home recuperating, he was still ill. And he said, look at this man, this poor man. He's got no money, he's poor, but he's got his health. Look at me. I've got money. I live in a big house. I've got a fancy car, but I don't have my health. I will swap with that man any day just to have my health. So health is something we take for granted until something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father had a huge influence on me. Again, like his sister, my auntie, they are two people. If I could be like them, I'd be the bestest person ever.
Lovely. Yeah.
Shall we do one more implausible truth?
Such a special memories, isn't it?
Yeah,
We've got Anne saying it was fantastic to learn about George's life and outlook on life. Look forward to when we can meet up again at Founders Friday.
If Mr. Lancaster wants to do Founders Friday, because I think he was saying he's moving on to do other things. We shall see.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's do another one. I played cricket often with the late John Hurt and had many busy nights with him as he regaled us about filming exploits. Through him, I met and shared a few drinks with Wayne Daniel, a West Indian fast bowler.
Right, that is true. And for Tony Robinson, who is also a cricket fan, when Daniel is nothing like he is on the pitch, he was the most docile, softly spoken giant you can ever meet. Now, John Hurt I had a cousin who died last year, who was an actor. And through him, I met John, and we used to drink in the same pub. So John would come. In those days, the pubs, you had a public bar and a saloon bar. John would always be in the public bar. And he'd come and he says, oh, I'm no longer emperor. He did a series called, I think it was called Caligula. No. What was the series called? Anyway, he played Caligula, the Roman emperor. And I think the series was called I, Claudius. And he played Caligula as the emperor. So he'd come in the pub and said, I'm no longer emperor. He also played the Elephant Man. And the Elephant Man, he looked like an elephant. And for that, he filmed every other day. He said it took him 6 hours. He went to the studio at 6 a.m. and he was in makeup till 12. So it took 6 hours to get all the...
6 hours.
Yeah. So his part were filmed every other day. And he also played naked civil servant. He played Quentin Crisp in the Naked Civil Servant, where Quentin Crisp was, I think he was the forerunner of the gay movement in England, or one of the forerunners. And because John was a method actor, he adopted the role. He did his research into gay people. So people thought he was gay. And I remember rescuing him on Hampstead Heath. Not rescuing him, but I found him. He'd been attacked by some yobs who thought he was gay, homophobic people who thought he was gay. But he wouldn't let me call the police. So we went to my cousin's house, and then we took him to his house. His house was just opposite the pub. So yeah, we got friendly with him. And I played cricket with him. The pub had a team called the Gentlemen of Hampstead. That was the name of the pub team. So we would meet on a Sunday. And then the pubs were open 12 till 2. And then they shut 7 till 10 on a Sunday. So you would meet at the pub, 2 o'clock. You'd go in a convoy of cars wherever you were playing. I made up the numbers. If they were short, I would make the numbers up. That's all. That was my role. And then at 4:30, the landlord of the pub would bring refreshments. So he would bring sandwiches, beer, and whatever. And not much cricket goes on after that. And then we go back to the pub at 7 o'clock. It was just an outing for the boys. But some of the people took it seriously. And John was a mad cricket fan. He was a mad cricket fan. He supported Middlesex Cricket Club, which is how he got to know Wayne. And he brought Wayne to the pub.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So
those were, yes.
Memories.
Yeah.
And we had no idea that that's like part of your experiences, you know.
Oh yeah, you see, my cousin would take me to the Actors Club, and you'd be looking, and he said to me, stop, because people you're seeing on TV, you'd see them in real life. And so he'd be talking about some, and I said, who is that? And he said, oh, it's so-and-so. Oh, right, okay. He'd introduce me to them, but what they were talking, I wasn't interested in it until later on when, oh yeah. So like, there's a Labour politician whose father was instrumental in setting up the Race Relations Board. Now, I met the father several times, but it never occurred to me. So there's so many people that I met that it's only now, okay, yeah. I think, yeah. So, but I met a lot of people through him.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
It
Going
is.
back, these plausible lies and unbelievable truths.
Yeah.
Tell us which ones were lies. At least
I've
give
told
us
you-
one.
I've
Because
told
they
you one.
all seem so
I've told
true
you
for
one
me.
lie. The Tory one, that I will never ever vote Tory. No way. That's a lie. The other one, that I have 8 kids, that's a lie.
How many actually have you got?
Well, that I know of, 4.
Okay.
And what else? What else? There are 2. There's probably 3 lies. Let me just.
Yeah, there was one about Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye one. Everything is true. He did come to the restaurant. He did eat there, but I didn't cook for him. That was a lie. The lie, I didn't cook for him.
Okay.
And I didn't meet him.
What about the is it Conte? John Conte.
John Conte, unfortunately, that is true. John Conte was a famous boxer. He opened a restaurant called JC's after his initials. And then he hit hard times.
Right.
I think he was, I'm not too sure about this, but I think he was declared bankrupt. And he was drinking heavily. He had a lot of hangers on. And they came, they call him, he was the champ, these hangers on the, and they came and they drank and they ate. He didn't have money to pay his bill. And he was causing, and his hangers on were causing a nuisance. So I asked them to leave. It was unfortunate because at his peak, he has since recovered. He has since led a very respectable life. But that particular point, he was on a very, very low. He had a lot of hangers on, and they were causing a nuisance. So I asked them to leave.
Right. Okay. It's a quite brave thing to do, isn't it?
And not really.
He's a boxer, and then if he just
But
explode.
at that time, he was drunk.
Right.
He couldn't even stand properly. So I don't think it was a brave thing to do. But people will do whatever you ask them to do, whatever you want them to do. It's how you ask them to do it.
Okay, yeah. It's the way you ask, isn't it?
It's there. If I said to, in those days, if I said to somebody, dance on the table, they will dance on the table. It's how you ask them to do it, or the way you ask them to do things. Even to this day, people will do whatever you want them to do. It's how you ask them to do it.
Yeah. And yes. And how do you ask them?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you, how do you ask them?
You have to be polite. Don't use aggression. Be polite and guide them. You know. Show them, explain why you want them to do what it is you want them to do. Show them what the benefit for him. He would have been arrested. He didn't want that.
Yeah. So all this, this life journey, ups and downs, and meeting so many wonderful people. What's your most favorite failure?
My most favorite failure. Getting lost. My sense of direction is appalling. I get lost. When I used to drive, I get lost all the time.
Does SatNav help?
Pardon?
Does SatNav help?
When it works, yes, sometimes. But in the most of the time, it doesn't work. Yeah, and I'm just trying to think what else. Technology again is a major thing. Because probably I'm a kind of old school. I am scared of trying new stuff that I don't know. For me, you show me. I'm not one of these people who go and read in there. No, show me. And you show me, I will learn how to do it. I know how to do it. But just experimenting, you see them. No, it's scary for me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think there's any more. Life happens, you know. Some people come into your life for a variety of reasons and they live for a variety of reasons. Sometimes, so long as you learn from those reasons why they left, it's not a failure. You have to fail to learn.
Yeah.
Without failing, you will never learn.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
I'm still learning. I'm on a learning curve. I'm still learning.
Aren't we all, George?
I will be learning until the day I get into the box.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
This is going to be my last question. Are there any quotes you live by and your motto?
Um, the motto I think I try to live my life by is, I think it's from the Bible, but it's do unto others as you wish them to do unto you. So I treat people the way I want to be treated. I don't always succeed, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the aim. That's what I do. I do my best to treat people the way I want to be treated. I said to people that the world has become smaller, and you might meet my child or my nephew or somebody related to me, and because of some bad things that I've done, you refuse to help them. So it's a small world. I want to be helpful to as
Mm-hmm.
many people as I can, that one day, you never know where they may be, they will remember me. And when they meet my grandson, granddaughter, or niece, they will remember, oh, I met a Gambian once who was a very bad man or who was a very good man. I hope it's a very good person who did
Mm-hmm.
X, Y, Z for me. And so they will do their best to help those people. So I do the best I can,
Mm-hmm.
be helpful, and help as many people as I can. And the world probably
Mm-hmm.
will be a better place.
Yes. Thanks so much, George, for your time. And can I just say that you make everyone you meet very joyous and happy.
Oh, now you're making me blush
You
now. See,
do. No, you do. And I know quite a few people saying that to me
thank
too about you. Yeah.
thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
So, and keep spreading your
Keep
joy
spreading
and
the love. Keep spreading the love
keep
and joy and
spreading the
happiness.
love.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks very much for your time. And
Oh, thank you for
we,
having me. Oh, can I just say something to the people who want to
yeah,
know the,
of course.
I will post the answers to them tomorrow and the day after, and probably over the weekend, and they
Mm-hmm.
can ask any questions about whatever it is they want in the comments, and we'll take it
Mm-hmm.
from there.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody who joined us as well. And if you would like to come and share your story, my door is always open to you. And always remember, you inspire others just being you, like George Forster. Be helpful. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.